Welcome to this presentation on mutable arithmetic. So I start with this example. So when you take a sum of some iterable in Julia, it does exactly something equivalent to this. And when for this sum, you have a vector of big integers, what it does is that instead of creating a new accumulator each time, you actually mutate the accumulator every time. And an even more involved example is when you have, for example, a vector of n variables or symbols, which can be some concept that exists in these packages. When you take the sum, you actually get some linear expression that may be represented like this with a vector of term, which is a number times the symbols every time. But when you implement the plus, you actually cannot mutate this list of terms because you're not allowed to mutate the first arguments. And so you need to take a copy every time. But this has an impact on the complexity, which becomes quadratic because this is just the complexity of the copy, and you copy it vector with more and more terms, and at the end it's up to n terms. And in fact, this is kind of what happens also if you were doing multiplication of the begin, because this would also be just the complexity of the copying, because the begins are larger and larger every time. And so what you could do is you could define some mutable arithmetic. So MA is shortcut for mutable arithmetics. API that's have this add bang, which is allowed to mutate the first argument. So by default, it will just return the sum so that it also works for integer and so on that are not mutable. For mutable type, you would actually be able to mutate the first argument. And so you won't have to copy the terms. But the issue with this kind of API is, for example, this mul bang would be the product allowed to mutate the first argument. How do you implement it? Because here the fields are not mutable. So if you use mul bang, then this won't work for integer because it will return the result because you won't be able to modify the numerator if it's an integer, but then you cannot modify the fields. And so this would be what you would do for big integer, and for integer would actually do this. But how do you know in which case you are? And so what solution would be to have these two levels, operate bang and mutable operate bang. So when you do operate bang, you actually check, can you mutate the type A to contain the result of the operation for a type A and type B? And if you can mutate, you call operate bang, mutable operate bang, and if you cannot mutate, you fall back to op. And you have the same version if you actually write to an output, can you modify the output to contain the result of the operation? So with this kind of API, you have this operate to bang that may mutate the first argument or not, and the return value is always the result. Depending on the situation, you may or may not mutate, but the return value is always the result. And mutable operate bang, it always mutates the first argument. And so if you don't implement it, it's just an error. There is no fallback because it should always mutate. And this mutability, you can actually always implement it like this. Like I have this default implementation, but I've never had to overwrite it in any case. So you can mutate T to contain the result of the operation if two conditions are satisfied. First, T should be mutable. And second, promote operation of this operation with this argument should actually be T. And so now, when you need to implement the API, if this is not implemented, then all the operate bang just default to the operation on the arguments. And this, once you implement mutability of T to B, is mutable. So depending on the type, it should be right dot type and then your type. Then all the mutable operate bang at the beginning, none of them are implemented. So you actually get helpful error saying, oh, this is what you should implement in this case. And so you don't have like your code being silently slow whenever you don't exploit mutability. Every time you don't exploit mutability, you get an error. So it's quite useful. You don't need to profile to make it fast. You actually get error to show what to change. And you implement all these mutable operate bang. And then for promote operation, there is a fallback that just called relies on inference to do that. And so in fact, with this design, you have actually more features with an API that is actually easier to implement than if we just add the add bang, because as you saw, you have many cases. Here you could have checked, oh, I tried to call mul on enum bnum. Then I try, is the result equal to enum? Or then maybe it's actually mutated. And it's actually more complicated to implement in this one. And here you actually have a lot more features for the user, and it's actually simpler. So now, how does the user actually call your API? Does he need to always call this operate bang and so on? So we have this rewrite macro that actually takes what the user would write with a non-mutable API, and he actually rewrites it like this. And so, for instance, all the jump macros, they actually use this internally, and that's actually quite important for its performance. In many use cases, otherwise, the performance would be very bad. And here, add mul and submul, it simply means this. So you modify the first. So you first check X. If it's mutable, then you actually need to copy it. And then the result, you will add the multiplication of these two and then remove the multiplication of these two. And here, copy if mutable, this is what the user called, but what you only need to implement is actually a mutable copy, and you only need to implement it if you are mutable, because this is the default implementation of copy if mutable. So to conclude, we have already quite a few implementation of mutable arithmetics. This is some types implemented in base, and these four packages implement mutable arithmetics for some of their types. And so, for instance, if you create some matrix and vector of polynomials, and you try to do matrix vector multiplication with a different default implementation in linear algebra, it's actually quite slow, and it allocates a lot. Now, if you rewrite it, we rewrite it like this, and this will allocate a lot less and be a lot faster. In fact, almost all the allocation comes from the allocation of the resulting vector. If you pre-allocate it, then you actually get almost no allocation. In fact, in many cases, you can actually pre-allocate it because maybe you're going to do a matrix vector multiplication with different vector or different matrices, and you can reuse some vector. So you can get almost no allocations. And this allocation is actually the allocation of a buffer, and you can actually see that, and you can actually also pre-allocate this buffer and get zero allocation if you want. And so if you want this to be automatically rewritten like this, when the user calls it even outside of the rewrite macro, it's also possible. You just need your type to be subtype of abstract mutable. And so this is actually done by the types in these three packages.